Alright, what's going on? So, you probably noticed when you clicked on this video, it's 25 minutes long. That's because we smashed together two wars in one video. Wars number 7 and 8. This first one, I've only got 4 fights. One of them is a Quake fight, which I sped up. So, it just wasn't really enough to stand on its own, in my opinion. So, but the second war, we've got some good stuff to get to. And then also this war, just to add a little bit of spice, just sprinkle some herbs on top. I'll be from this war on, I'll just be keeping track of what my season record is at the bottom of the screen once we get into the war fight. So just so you guys can kind of follow along. I know it's kind of difficult to see or to kind of put all that stuff together when you're watching somebody's war videos. And I know that a lot of people are interested to know what my season record is. I've gotten asked quite often what it is. I think that people just think that I die all the time, which honestly is totally fair because I've had some pretty stupid fights. And, in seasons past, I have had, some goofy seasons, scattered about. So anyway. All right, this first fight here, I'm just slapping on the guidance. Guidance really isn't necessary here. This is the Schadenfreude node. It's pretty good placement, actually, but I'm going to be using Apocalypse. Now, the reason that I put on guidance was because, first of all, Cleanse does bypass Apocalypse's ability accuracy reduction on Purify. So, Cleanse, she will cleanse his first parry, and then it goes on cooldown. But I also want to gain Incinerate immunity here, and it takes 8 seconds being inflicted with that debuff to gain the immunity to it. So during those 8 seconds, I want to be able to cleanly land parries so that I'm not taking her hits on the block, because this node has the 480% Schadenfreude Fury buff, and again, she can cleanse Apocalypse. So she cannot cleanse Guidance for a hero or metal attacker, however. That is a passive parry stun. There is nothing in the game that can bypass that other than just stun immunity. So first order of action here, I'm just looking for a super clean intro. There, I get it. Now I just want to make sure that I'm not getting hit here because she would wreck me if I did. All right, I didn't have quite enough Incinerate to gain the immunity. I think I need like 1 or 2 more seconds, and now I'm in a pretty bad position. But there, I finally gained the Incinerate immunity, and I'm just looking to get up to my SB2. I know that once I get up to my SB2, the fight is over. It should one-shot her. She does have a pretty low health pool, and Apocalypse's SP2 is pretty stupid. I do only have the 1 genetic code, but that really shouldn't be a problem here. Never great to be doing wall play against Jabari Panther. There you guys can see that she did cleanse those debuffs, which is pretty annoying. And I'm just gonna recycle because I know that this will kill her here. Alright, now this fight, this is just an easy Quake fight. Speeding it up for you. Lost a little bit of health because of the bleed suicide, but of course it doesn't matter because I'm not going to get touched in this fight. It was actually surprising to me. We'll kind of do maybe a season recap a little bit later in future videos, but it surprised me how often Quake was not banned. I guess some alliances feel like she's not being used as much anymore with like the introduction of, or the influx I should say, of rank 4 defenders. And of course she's only available as a 5-star, so you kind of have 2 levels of difference there between her power level and a rank 4 6-star, but at the same time she's so broken. She just gets around so much. and I think we have 5.5 minute timers now, at least 5 minutes. She would have no issue with anything except maybe on Boss Island for like a really high health pool, rank 4 6-star, because of all the health boosts on from the nodes and stuff on Mini Island. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty shocking. We used her as much as we could when she wasn't banned, which was like probably half the wars. But all right, you guys have seen me take this matchup before. I enter the fight, so I instantly gain those +2 genetic codes since I'm fighting a mutant. I have an invulnerability boost, and this is why I had my bleed suicide on against Jabari. There, I swear I wasn't just standing completely open there. So I just had some input issues, which pretty common theme throughout everybody's war videos this season. Always enjoy. We're going to throw the SP2 before she gets to her SP2, because I didn't want to trigger Lucky there. And then we can just recycle, and the fight is over. And then my last fight of the war is against this Hit Monkey on node 43, the following node here, which has kinetic transference and aspect of evolution. I understand why he is placed here, because he is a hard Quake counter, but at the same time, like, I don't know. Domino is a pretty easy Apocalypse fight, and I'm not sure that there's a faster or safer option against this Hit Monkey than Apocalypse. Maybe like Corvus, but he was definitely banned this war. I am missing some parries, so I've missed 2 parries already, which is great. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter, because an SP2 should kill this guy. I didn't really want him to get to his SP2 because of that. Just all the hits on the block. I'm able to dex the last part, but I just don't really feel comfortable dexing or trying to fully dex his SP2. Alright, I'm just waiting for that clean end so that I can throw my SP2. It doesn't kill him because of aspect of evolution. That's the only reason he was kept alive. But I can just recycle that immediately. And yeah, so there we go. 4-0 that war, up to 39-2 on the season at this point. I can't remember. I think that we won. We definitely won this war, and BG3 only had 1 death. I believe it was a timeout, in fact, to a Sasquatch boss. So really good showing for BG3. Okay, and then war number 8, we're up against Groudon. I think Groudon is a Pokemon, just spelled differently. So I don't know if that's why they named their alliance that, and I don't know why I'm providing commentary on our opponents' names. It really doesn't matter. But this war, I do have 7 fights, and I've got that Apocalypse, I believe. I'm trying to remember exactly what I have this war. Oh yeah, I was taking that Domino and then Killmonger, and then I have that Hulkbuster Mini on Conflictor. The one that I died to with Dr. Doom. I had the wrong strategy, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go ahead and correct my mistakes. I am able to learn from things, which is, fortunate. Oh, apparently I don't. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to kind of like wing this. But, alright. So I'm not fighting a Hulkbuster this war. Just ignore that. I didn't even look at the map because I was distracted by myself. But, okay. So, the first few fights here were on 5A. And we've got a Colossus. I'm going to be using Apocalypse here. Just an easy way to ramp him up. Now, Apocalypse is, I think, pretty good for this node. You just have to throw your SP3. And, Colossus with his armors can be a little bit annoying because he does benefit from the Unstoppable Armor Global. But I think that his chance to gain an armor on hits is only 10%, and then, he gains armors every 10 seconds from the global, and then he also gains armors when he throws his SP1. So it's like a really low chance for him to gain new armors. At high sig, he can refresh armors when they're set to expire, and that does trigger the Unstoppable Global. So it feels like there's a lot to pay attention to, and maybe there is, I'm not really sure, but it does seem to be a pretty smooth, he seems to be he seems to be on the easier side, or slightly more predictable side, relative to other global affected defenders, especially that have their own native armor effects. So, Alright, he does start with the 3 armors because he's awakened, and he of course starts with the unstoppable global because of that. Alright, so you guys have seen me take, I think, a few different defenders on this node, including Thing. But basically, we are just going to slow play the F and F out of this, and we're just going to get up to an SP3. Once we're at the SP3, or right before the SP3, then we'll throw a heavy attack to knock him down. And then we'll gain a Fury buff. It'll remove his protection. This is Ebb and Flow Knockdown. And we can throw the SP3. I could have punished there with a heavy, but I just wanted to make sure that I was safe to do so. Here, I think I'm going to clear his power. And I am waiting out that unstoppable global. Alright, just going to back off, get a clean parry. Heavy him to knock him down. Protection is gone. I gain a Fury. And I can't remember how much damage this one does, but it's not going to kill him here. Yeah, so it takes about 35% off of him, which is nice. I'm going to be doing a little bit more damage because I will have that passive Fury effect. You guys can see the timer underneath my health bar. And again, with Apocalypse here, you don't want to waste your specials on an SP1 or 2 because when he is knocked down, he does become debuff immune for, I can't remember how long, like 8 seconds maybe. So your debuffs will just fall right off as soon as he falls down at the end of your special animation. So just stick with the SP3 here. Just waiting out the global timer, baiting his SP1. Now I can punish this, knock him down, and this one will kill him. So just a pretty easy fight, honestly, and you know, I don't know if they thought that because of the node, Apocalypse wasn't going to be a great option. Oh shit, this didn't even kill him. I guess because of his armor effect. So, okay, that combo should kill him. Nope. All right, we'll finish him with the SP1. My goodness. But I just think that placing a mutant anywhere, placing a mutant that's not Red Magneto or Apocalypse anywhere in Section 1, or I guess Havoc, is just a really bad idea. Apocalypse, I do see a lot more Apocalypses being run on offense over the last season or so. So, yeah, I do feel like people are starting to understand that he's like insanely versatile. Now this fight, obviously, you know, this is a really good spot to place defenders who have who can't be parried on their medium attacks. I died to a Nova here. It was just a complete mess. But, you know, Magneto is going to be a really, really safe option for any metal defender here, with the exception of, like, Nimrod. But yeah, so even if I'm not able to land reparries in the Nova fight, I just could not land a repair. He kept throwing his heavy attack. Iron Man is being a lot more... of course, there he throws his heavy attack, but he's being a lot more... a lot friendlier here, allowing me to reparry him. But if I get into a situation where I can't, then I can just use my heavy charge unstoppable for my end, just to knock him down. And then, of course, I'm just trying to get to my SB3. Right now, I'm just charging up. I'm hoping that he'll rush in at me. There he goes. And I can throw the SB3. I didn't have 40 prowess, but it doesn't matter. This is going to wreck him, obviously. Alright, so we're up to 41-2 on the season. Which, you know, I mean, I don't know. It's okay. I mean, the 2 deaths that I had are just so disappointing. The Nova fight, I mean, I thought that it was a fine matchup, and I don't know. I just didn't execute. And then the Doom Hulkbuster fight, I just feel like I set myself up with a bad matchup. Or, you know, and I know that some people are going to say, oh, Doom can definitely take that fight. When I say bad matchup, I mean it's not one of the safest or simplest matchups. There are many better options for that specific placement with this global. And I picked a bad one, you know. So, but I also executed really poorly. So, yeah, I don't know. But you live and learn. All right, so this is a pretty decent place for Nick Fury. Lizer takes him off in here with Omega Red, but since Man-Thing has been placed on node 20 almost every single war, maybe literally every single war this season, she's been taking that fight, and so without Omega Red, Apocalypse is going to be the next best option on this node, in my opinion. You guys can see that it does have Bubble Shield there. Just trying to land a reparry because I don't want him throwing his SP1. There he goes into his heavy animation, which is nice. It also has Power Focus 1, which is why he's not gaining as much power above a bar of power. Alright, and I do want to knock him down here. I'm just looking for a good window. I just need him to throw his heavy attack so that I can counter-punish with my own heavy. Alright, got Bubble Shield up to 10, so I just need to make sure that I'm triggering his unblockable so that I can go back into heavy baiting. And there we go, we knock him down, and he's going to be dead here. So just one mistake in this fight, and ultimately really safe, especially with the bleed immunity that we gained from the Colossus fight. Alright, and then I do believe that we're changing masters. Yeah, so we're just taking off Dexterity here because I'm going to be using Magic for Apocalypse on EMP modification. The reason that we take off Dexterity is so that we're not triggering buffs. We can, we're not going to get shocked, and more importantly, we're not going to lose power from Burden of Might. So essentially, as long as we can get him power locked with an SP2, definitely want to use the Power Start 1 boost. Then you can just play around Bubble Shield, and that's pretty much all you have to do. It's just Bubble Shield is the only worry that you have here. So in Bubble Shield, especially when you have the Defender power locked, is pretty darn easy. Just get him to get your blocks to an increment of 10, and then the next attack will be unblockable, and you can just kind of bait that out. So I do want to stop my combo short here just to be absolutely certain that I can get him power locked. There is a scenario, a doomsday scenario, where your power locks fail, but you have an 85% chance on both of your hits. So I mean, the odds are so insanely low that you're usually pretty safe. Now, in the past, I have loved playing Magic and doing backdrafts. It feels so good. Of course, over the last year or so, backdrafts are no longer safe in war. The Defender AI is just too smart. They will, kind of juke you and they'll intercept you. So I've learned my lesson the hard way. I've had, I'm sure, a couple deaths trying to do that. And at this point, it's just 4-hit combos, back off, land a clean parry, and just continue on. I mean, there's no reason to try to be sexier than that. Even stand-up intercepting, which is something that, again, it's just really fun to do. And it looks awesome when you're able to do it, but it's just, I don't know. It's not safer than doing what I just did, which is the 4 hits, back off, land a parry. Okay, so next two fights. We've got Domino, and then we have Killmonger. Now, both of these fights have some kind of disorient effect. Apocalypse is the only champ in the game that can gain disorient immunity. So I'll gain disorient immunity from parries on this node against Domino, and then on the next fight against Killmonger, the node inflicts disorient if you back up twice within a 1-second period. It's essentially the same mechanic as no retreat, except you don't take the degen, you just get disoriented. So that's, I'll have disorient immunity for that fight, and then both of them also have strike counter penetration. So if you don't follow the strike counter prompts, the defender is going to gain block penetration passives that are permanent. There's no way to reduce them or cancel them during the fight. They just keep stacking, and then you'll start taking hilarious amounts of damage through the block. So if I recall correctly, this Domino fight was not as smooth as it could have been. She is Domino. I mean, I don't know. She's very annoying to fight, but Apocalypse should have no issue with both of these fights. There you guys can see me using the very last mutant special damage boost until the final war of the season. I think they were out of the loyalty store for almost 2 weeks. But I was a little bit concerned. I wasn't necessarily concerned about these fights. I just was aware that they could be dangerous, and I just wanted to get out of the fight. And of course, if you have the boost, it's better to use them because you never know if they're going to pop back up that same night in the loyalty store. And if you died because you didn't use them and then they popped up, then it's just a waste. So that's what we're doing here. Alright, just going to throw the SP2. We're going to get some decent damage back, or some decent power back, I mean. It's nothing crazy. There I just get pieced out a little bit. I'm safe to throw this because I know that his special 2 is not going to push her to 3 bars of power. But at this point I do want to bait this out. So, you know, I could go for it and land a parry and then go to my SP2. But when I push her over a 3rd bar of power, she could get lucky. And in the past, she has dexed or evaded the first attack of my SP2 and blocked the rest of the attack. And obviously if that happened, I would have been in some decent trouble there. But no worries, just got to be patient. That's another thing that I've worked on over the last several seasons is just being patient. I think in times past, I would have been like, you know what, she's not throwing her special. I'm too impatient. I'll just land a parry and go for it here. And probably would have worked out, but there's always the possibility that it didn't. Okay, now here I am taking like a little bit of reverberation damage. It's not really a big deal, but I do want to make sure that I'm waiting out reverb, let it go on cooldown before I throw my SP2. Alright, and then I want to make sure that I get off 3 full combo hits there. And of course, I did not time the reverberation correctly. So all those physical hits, I'm taking damage back. I throw the SP1 thinking like, hey, maybe it'll kill him. It doesn't, but that's okay. I'm going to do 3 more hits and throw the SP1, and the burst damage is going to kill him. Alright, and then we just have one more fight this war, and it is on Conflictor. It is with Apocalypse. It is just not Hulkbuster, like I said at the beginning of the video. That is for a future war. It is Black Panther Civil War. So, I think Black Panther Civil War would be a pretty decent placement for this node if Apocalypse was banned. We did see Apocalypse banned, I think 2 wars this season. Those were devastating wars for me. One of them was the war against SSX when I died to that Hulkbuster that was here. Alright, so I've said this before, but the way that Black Panther works is he has a 60% chance to gain an armor every time you hit him. And in his reflective state, those little passives, he can reflect stun onto you. And then also, like if you take a hit, he can reflect direct damage, like stored damage or whatever. However, he cannot reflect stun against Apocalypse because it counts as a Purify ability. But I am using Guidance here because I just wanted to get the fight down faster. And there I made a mistake. I was a little bit careless. And he was able to trigger the global and punish me. But yeah, there you go. Pretty easy. So that's it for the war video. We're 46-2 on the season up until this point. And in the last 4 wars, 9, 10, 11, 12 of the season, I did take 30 fights combined. So you'll have to, check in and follow, the future war videos, see how I finished my season record or whatever. But that's it, guys. Leave a like and a comment. Let me know what you thought about these fights, and I'll catch you in the next one.